Freddie Vasquez.
Good evening, folks. It's Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's discuss the mayoral race. Primaries on Tuesday. Who you voted for?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Happy Friday. Oh, sorry, Saturday. Happy Saturday night. This is Freddie Vasquez with Basement Politics Unfiltered tonight. I want to go over the primary for the mayor's race here in the city of Yonkers. Let's talk about it because it's starting to get a little spicy, a little heated. Right, folks, how you doing? Good evening. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I wanted to come on today to speak specifically about the race for mayor. Corazon Pineda Isaac put out a video, an ad, a campaign ad, which is well done. I got to give her the props. A lot of people liked it. It's very well put together. Again, though, it's speaking on the nepotism here in the city of Yonkers. Again, she's speaking about the Spano family. And she lays out, well, not her, but the video that was created by her campaign camp, I would imagine, lays out a few of the Spano family members who have jobs in the city of Yonkers, right? And she's basically stating, or the messages in the video is that another 4 years for Mayor Mike Spano is all about keeping the family business going. And we've heard that, right? I spoke about that a lot on this podcast, especially after, had the CPS issue at my daycare, right? And I just kind of went, and I put it all out there, right? But I've been speaking about it a lot, in the past few months of the nepotism. And I mean, this is nothing new. I mean, again, I've mentioned this yesterday. The nepotism claims or whether real, have been, talked about since Lenny Spano, the Spano father, who was a county official, was in office, and they talked about it then, right? And they're now same story. I'm wondering what impact is it really having, right? Because everyone knows, people who go to vote, they know how many Spano family members are working within the city, right? The mayor has spoken about it. He said, well, they all have gotten the jobs, legitimately. No special favors or considerations were given to my brothers or nephews or whoever else may have a job, right? But most people probably are not gonna, I don't know if most people, but a lot of people are not gonna buy it, right? They're gonna say, yeah, I'm sure, and because we're human, right? Naturally, we're going to do that, right? We have a family members. We want to hook them up with jobs. People have said this to me, and, people that I know well, people that, support the Spanos and that I've known for a long time, just, off the record or on the side, have said, Freddie, think about this. What would you do? You're the mayor. You can give your family members jobs and friends. Wouldn't you do that? I would do it. This is, and many people have said that. And, quite honestly, I would probably, give a family member to a job, but I would also make sure that they're working. I would also make sure that they're not, taking advantage of that or abusing, their, relationship towards me or with me and utilizing that to get away with stuff. And I think therein lies a lot of the issues and the problems and why so many people complain. A lot of the people that have reached out to me in terms of, nepotism and, family members working or friends working there, their complaint hasn't necessarily been specifically how it's not right that all these family and friends are working there, but more so about the treatment, right, that some of them have received from some of these individuals. And not even just a family member. Many times it's a friend of the family that they say has gotten the job, let's say at DPW. And because they have that connection, that person feels like they can do whatever they want, right? They feel like they have this steam and this juice, and you can't touch me because I'm connected. I'll get you transferred before you transfer me, right? Type of attitude. And so that has really left a bad taste in people's mouth because, it's not just people who were not hooked up and had to get, got the job the right way, but people who have even been hooked up have reached out and said, listen, I kind of, got a favor. I put in a call when I was looking for a job, but, I just don't like the way, the way it goes. It's gotten bad or it's horrible. And so, I think a lot of that is the issue, more so than the fact that they are family members and friends. I think a lot of it is also the treatment. So, so if I hooked my friends up or my family up, because naturally we would have that instinct as human beings and, as wanting to help out people that we care about and that we love, I would be like, listen, but you can't act up. You can't act a fool. You got to follow orders, and you're going to get promoted the way everyone else gets promoted. You're not going to get skipped. And that's how I would do it probably. But, so that's a conversations that I have. But, and we talk about that because that's a lot of what is being said about the Spanos. And I'm wondering, is Corazon and her camp or Margaret Coleman, are they going to talk about other things, right? There are a lot of other things and Margaret Coleman has actually said this, right? She's actually criticized Moranti and Corazon Pineda Isaac for speaking specifically about corruption and nepotism. And her point is, let's talk about what the issues are and how we're going to fix these issues, right? And so she hasn't really made a lot of mention of, any nepotism. She has stated that the mayor has been in office for 3 terms. It's time for someone new, someone fresh. The community here in the city of Yonkers is largely minority, and we need a mayor that's going to reflect that community, right? It's going to reflect that population. And so she's kind of spoke about that. She's mentioned education and crime, but she hasn't really gone after the Spanos or Mike Spano, I should say, in the same manner that we've seen Corazon Pineda Isaac and Anthony Moranti go after the Spanos, right? And so this video that I want to play here is from Corazon's camp. And again, I think it's a well put together video, right? But is it saying anything new? Is it impactful? What impact is it really making? Are people really, saying, man, wait a minute, this is going to make me change my mind and I'm not going to vote for Spano. I was going to vote for Spano, but after seeing this video, I don't think so. I don't know. Let's take a look. Oh.
For Vincent Spano, Yonkers is a great place to live and work. For Vincent Spano, the city clerk. For Jamie Spano, executive director of the Yonkers IDA. For Joseph Spano, an environmental worker. For John Spano, a Yonkers firefighter. For Lenny Spano, a sanitation manager. For Nick Spano, a lobbyist with clients who receive tax benefits from his brother. Mike Spano, the mayor who just lifted term limits so he can keep running the family business. Yonkers, it's a great place to live and work. If you're a Spano, it's time for change.
So you wanted a quote for this?
Yes.
How would you feel if
Yonkers is a great place to work if you're a Spano, but I think Yonkers is a great place to work if you're not a Spano. Yonkers has some of the highest salaries you'll see in the state and maybe even the country, right? So again, she goes back to the nepotism. And what's up with the old picture of which Spano was it that was shown there? They showed the old picture of him. There's nothing new. The guy, he was young there. He was, still in elementary school or junior high school there. But again, it's the same, a criticism. It's nepotism. It's nepotism, right? Nepotism. But I think that that's easy to defend. I don't think that that's impactful enough. I don't think that that's going to make the difference, right? We know, people know, but it's easy to defend. Like I said, and the mayor has spoken about it. He said, well, many of my families, they took the civil service test. Some of them have been on before I was mayor, and that's just what it is. And in regards to Vinny Spano, in fact, Corazon Pineda Isaac voted to have him appointed as city clerk. So if there was an issue about nepotism or having too many Spanos on the city payroll, why would she then vote to appoint or approve to have Vinny Spano as the city clerk? And this is, I think, one of the big problems for Corazon. For many people who say they don't want to vote for Spano. They don't want to see Spano win another 4 years, but they don't want to vote for Corazon either. And a lot of the reasons because they feel that she has for so long gone along with the mayor. She has stood with him on many issues. She's voted along with him. She was supported by the Spanos. A lot of the fundraisers, if not all of her fundraisers up until recently, were put together by the Spanos. A lot of the donors, the people that were contributing, were brought there by the Spanos. And so many people, I was confused at first. I thought she was just, playing a game. I wasn't sure she really was running for real. And then when I started to think, okay, maybe she is, right? I was very surprised because of the connection and the close ties she had with the Spanos. Very close, right? And I was there to witness, their interactions at Zupa's. I remember I went to a Corazon fundraisers. And if you have a fundraiser at Zupa's, you know that that's, done by the mayor and the administration. That's, anyone that gets a fundraiser at Zupa's, at the Yonkers Brewing Company, that's usually, people who are close with the administration or who have a good relationship with the administration, Mike Spano, right? So she'd had it there. And I went and I wrote her a check and I saw her interactions and she was very friendly, very friendly, very friendly. Happy to see the Spanos there. She was Jamie Spano. She had Jamie Spano there, and I'm sure that probably has Mr. Vincent Spano very upset. See, because I don't like that, right? Like me, I get upset when they blast my wife's face. And I believe he does too. And I'm sure that he doesn't like that, right? And that probably pissed him off. But it's interesting because at that fundraiser, she called Jamie Spano, Corazon Pineda Isaac. And and the reason why I remember this is because I thought it was weird. It was strange for her to be calling Jamie Spano at 10:30 at night just to say hello. She had a few drinks and stuff. So it just, and I'm that type. I observe, me and my wife, we used to like to go people watching. We just watch people, not go, but if we were somewhere, we sit down, whatever, take a break, we'd people watch and just think about what are they thinking? What are they doing? Right. So that's what I do. And I analyze and assess people. And I would, and I was watching the room and I saw her interaction. Then I thought it was weird. Why would you call the man's wife at 10:30 at night? Right. I didn't get that. So there was this relationship, right? They were close. She was close. She had considered her Jamie Spano her bestie, and here now, she's running for mayor. Now she's pulling out. Well, not all the stops, but now she's really going after them in terms of the nepotism and saying these things. So that has kind of, confused people and a lot of people, which is why I think it's hurting Corazon. Why I think that her criticisms of the mayor are not really that impactful. I don't think they're really doing a whole lot to help her get, to that a point where she needs to be in order to beat Mike Spano. I want to play this video from a council meeting. And I've shown this video before, but this is interesting because this is in regards to the affordable housing ordinance, right? And so they were deciding which committee to put it in. Should it go into the Codes and Legislation Committee, or should it have gone into should it go to the Real Estate Committee, which was chaired by John Rubo? And so Corazon wanted to put it in the real estate, whereas Shanae Williams, who was supporting it from day one, the 20%, thought it should go into legislation and codes, which I thought was a better choice because John Rubo was the chair of the Real Estate Committee, and we all knew John Rubo did not want that ordinance to pass. He was against it from day one. So that was not the right choice. And so, I questioned this video when I first saw it. I said, I didn't understand that. Does Corazon really want affordable housing? So these are things, and I'm just being honest. I'm just being straight up. I'm not going to, point out things for one group and not point out things for another group. I'm just being honest and being unbiased. And this is why I'm talking about this. And this is what a lot of people have said, why they don't want to vote for Corazon. And they don't really know who Margaret Coleman is. So there you have an issue. So either they're going to vote for Mike Spano or they're not going to vote at all. And these are some of the reasons why, and I'm just, mentioning it. So the fact that she wanted to put into real estate committee, to me, showed that she wasn't in full support of the affordable housing. Although now she, as in her campaign, she's saying she's all about the affordable housing. But there was a time when you weren't for the 20%, and people remember this. So you can't forget. People remember this. So I want to play this.
Chair, I did speak to Councilwoman Williams, who addressed concerns as to why she wants it in certain committee. And I just want to point out that regardless of which committee it goes to, one, the council president has the authority to put it out of committee if for some reason there was some structure to be occurring. Two, if it goes to passes to be put in real estate, the chair, the sponsor of this bill also is in that committee. She is not in legislation and codes. So I thought also that it would be good for the person who sponsored it to be able to be a voting member in the committee from the start to the very end. And three council members, myself, yourself, and Ms. Williams are also on that committee. So the conversations continue and the advocacy for this piece of legislation will continue. And really the process, this is just the very early stages, and where it goes, it really doesn't prohibit how this moves forward.
Through the chair, I respectfully disagree that where it goes, it doesn't really matter. It does matter. I'm fully aware that I'm not a voting member of Legislation and Codes Committee, but I'm also fully aware that the three folks, yourself, Majority Leader, the Council President, and Tasha Diaz are in support of real affordable housing and making sure that we get more affordable units to Yonkers. And that is why I am more comfortable putting it in this legislation, which is Legislation and Codes. Also, it is directly changing a current ordinance. So it makes sense to put it in legislation and codes. While it does affect real estate, and it will affect a lot of people, you can make an argument that it could go in a lot of different committees, to be quite honest. But the point is, even though I do sit on real estate committee, I know the relationship that I have with the chair of that committee. And I know that politics, unfortunately, sometimes get in the way.
And she's referring to John Rubel there, right? And her issues with John Rubel, whatever they were. And so, again, I agree with Shanae there, right? And I've criticized Shanae, and I've, haven't been always, on her side, or if I ever really been on her side. But I agree with Shanae there. Putting it in real estate committee was John Rubel as chair, who was opposing the affordable housing ordinance, was not a good move. And it was changing a code and within the charter, city ordinance. So it made sense again. And also, the individuals that were part of that committee who were in full support of 20%. So for her to want to put it in real estate with John Rubel suggested to me anyway that she didn't want to see this be very successful, right? She didn't, wasn't wanting to see it passed, ultimately. So that's what I got from that at that point. Check out Tasha Diaz, right? Doesn't she look a little different? The administration bought everyone. If they couldn't buy you, they threatened you. So you're saying that the administration had threatened Corazon? Is that what you're saying? That she was threatened in order to go along with the administration? Is that what you're saying? You have to be able to, I got threatened. I was threatened, what I'm saying? I've been threatened every which way, left, right, up, and down. You know what I'm saying? Now, you see what they're doing to me, right? And what's been done to me. But you have to be able to stand your ground. And this is nothing new. This is nothing that I have not already said about Corazon Pineda Isaac or even Anthony Moranti, right? Who's running as the Republican in the general election. You have to, stand your ground. You can't say, well, I was threatened or, it just, I couldn't get it passed anyway because everybody, you still have to, if this is how you believe or this is what you believe, then you have to put that out there and stand firm by that, right? I mean, your brother did that, right? John Cater, Mike Cater stood firm by his belief, and that's why he's not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? You was threatened, I was threatened, my brother was threatened, wake up for it. No, I said that. I said I was threatened every which way, right? And I was in my business, and I'm sure, you have, I know your brother, was. But again, you still cannot, you have to hold your ground. You have to do what's right, right? It's like Martin Luther King, right? He was threatened, they ultimately killed him, right? Same with Malcolm X, same with other people that fought for what was right, right? They never, wavered regardless of the threats, regardless of whatever, safety concerns or negative, consequences they could receive. And so when you don't do that, right, and it just shows that, maybe you're not, you're not really straight up, like you're not being honest, right? And then when you go to run for mayor and then you say these things now, it doesn't, sell well with the people, right? Because people say, well, I remember, so this is why I was saying about Corazon, and I've said this, to people that are close to her. I said, I think she needs to just be straight up about these things. That would to me would show more. And if you're saying she was threatened, right? Well, say that. Say, listen, I was threatened. I mean, this is why I had to, go along with this. And this is what's going on there. These are the backroom deals, if they're being made, that are being made, right? You have to put that out there because that's ultimately going to show that, hey, this person is really genuine. They want to see change. They're putting it all out there. And, they're not concerned what the negative consequences may be. But you're just focusing on the nepotism. That's not going to be impactful enough, I think, to put Corazon over the, over the edge, over the line there to win and beat Mike Spano. I just don't think so. Nothing new. That's nothing new. And, at the end of the day, like, where is the, how is it going to hurt Mike Spano, really, right? People know. Like I said, people know. So she has to bring out more than just the nepotism, right? And so, again, she's going to, make a criticism about the Spanos, and then they're going to come back, as hard as she's coming at them, right? And I'm believing that they're going to come back now after this video, right? They've already came back with the tickets that she had. She owed, almost $1,700 or over $1,700 in tickets. Now, what will they come up with next? Her easy pass, they mentioned that. Now I'm hearing that maybe they might start saying that she didn't live in Yonkers. She was living in Brooklyn and some affordable housing that was owned by her mom. That's what they're going to be putting out. So it's becoming this, like, this battle, this war that's going to get nasty. And we only have a few days left up until the primary, right? So, she's a target. She's an easy target for them because of things that they could say about her, right? And that's ultimately going to hurt us. It's not going to, stop spinning. Freddie, stop with the spinning. You know what time it is. No, this is nothing that I haven't said before, John. I've said this already about Corazon. I said Corazon has not been, she wasn't 100% for the 20% affordable housing. She was not. She was saying maybe 15. She was talking about 13 to 15%. And this was back when your brother was the city council president, right? So this was back then. And I was saying that. She wasn't for it, right? All the way. And then everybody was, but did they know the mayor was going to veto it, John? I'm sure that's why, Corazon voted yes to the 20% when she wasn't in favor of it. I'm sure that's why John Rubo voted for 20% when he was totally against it, and then you see Tasha Diaz flip-flopped, right? She flip-flopped because now they weren't going to go ahead and override the mayor's veto. And I think the only reason why they even had that vote was because the people were putting the pressure on them. Well, are you guys going to override it? You guys going to override it? And then it was up to Tasha Diaz to be the flip-flopper, right? And that they got her to do it, right? Okay, so stop hiding Corazon's highlights the dealers, not the players. No, that's maybe because second floor threatened her. I guess. How would they threaten her? And how would they, like, physically threaten her? I don't know. How would they threaten her? What do you mean by that? Right? How did they threaten her? When I pull up this other video that I want to play. What do you mean by they threatened her? And what about Margaret Coleman? Margaret Coleman also, Reverend Margaret Coleman, I don't know. I think she's just there to split the votes. I truly believe that, and no disrespect to Reverend Coleman, no disrespect, right? Because I like Reverend Coleman, I almost feel bad for saying that, but it has to be said. I have to say it. I have to say what I feel. I think she's there to split the votes. I don't think she's really there to try and win. I mean, what she's talking about in her campaign message is generic. It's generic, right? It's talking points. It's not detailed. There's no solutions there that she's presenting or putting forth. So again, no disrespect, but I don't know. I don't think that anyone's gonna beat Mike Spano. Moranti, I see signs for Moranti up already. I see people I hear people supporting Moranti, but Moranti is kind of the same with Corazon Pineda Isaac, right? In terms of their, relationship with the administration for so long. And then now they're out to be on their own, right? So I don't know. What do you mean by they threaten her? The feds will lay it all out for you. Well, I know that you mentioned this before, John. Maybe you know something we don't know. Although I did recently hear something about the feds from somebody who's not, into Yonkers politics. They don't really care about it. They don't even live in Yonkers, but they know people. And talking with someone they know that works for the government, this person said to me that they think Corazon's going to win. I said, yeah, why do you think Corazon's going to win? They said, because, the Spanos are in some trouble. And I said, what do you mean? And they go, they're being investigated by the FBI, right? And it's serious. I said, well, we've heard this many times. Like people say, you hear this all the time, right? They're being investigated. He goes, no, this is, from somebody that knows that works. And, and so I don't know. Again, John, you're saying that, I've heard that too. I don't know if they're going to, I don't know if they're going to actually come in and investigate it. I think people just, are saying that. Perry Carbone has not retired for a reason. Who's that? I don't know who that is. Enlighten me who that is. Well, they're definitely, the Spano, the administration is definitely not as confident as they have been in the past in this one. And for many reasons, right? It's a fourth term, people didn't want to see it. A lot of people fought against it. Now you got Corazon. She's got, some decent support from groups like Indivisible. She's got, individuals working within her campaign that are seasoned, that have worked on big campaigns before. But she hasn't done well with funding. I mean, the mayor, obviously being an incumbent, being in office for 12 years, has raised a lot of money compared to Corazon. I think Corazon was at not recently about $70,000, but the mayor is, over $500,000 or more. I heard $3 million total. And then Margaret Coleman, I think the latest, what I heard was maybe, I don't know, $12,000 that she was able to raise. It could be more. It's just what I've heard. So how is, and you, John, you're about the money. You need money. How do you think that Corazon or Margaret Coleman could beat Mike Spano with the budgets they have compared to Mayor Spano, right? How? Right? How do you think that? Because you're with a big guy saying, money, you need money. Mayor has a lot more money than the both of them. How do you think that they can beat the mayor with so little money compared to him? I'm just being honest, John. Perry Carbone, attorney. Oh, okay. You spoke to the guy? Perry Carbone, Mount Vernon whistleblower. He's an attorney, law school, chief White. Oh, okay. White Plains Division, U.S. attorney. This is the guy. So this guy right here says manager at Elizabeth. What is this? Is this the guy? Did I get the right guy? Yeah, it says a U.S. attorney, so I'm assuming he's a attorney general or whatever. Look, it could be. I mean, a lot has happened. I think where they need to go look, if anywhere, is up in Macy. That's what they need to go look. Bingo. Well, you must know something I don't know because you're putting out names there. You're not just saying that the feds are investigating. You're actually naming names. You're naming the agents, the investigators. Interesting. Well, look, I don't know. It could very well be. This is something that, again, people have said plenty of times before. I've heard it. I've heard it from sources that I think were very reliable. Which is why I believe that maybe something was going on. But I don't know for sure. I can't say 100%. Just what we're hearing, right? And we've been hearing this. But look, John, I'm not against Corazon, right? but I'm just telling you why I don't think she's going to do well. I'm just letting you know. I mean, she wasn't the strongest candidate. I think that she wasn't if these individuals were going to back, like Indivisible and other groups were going to back, they really needed to, and people who wanted change and who were going to be in the game, right? The players needed to start looking for someone, a couple years back, to start to really look for someone, really start to, work with that person to kind of, groom them to become the candidate that can beat Mayor Spano. Again, this guy's the incumbent, 12 years. He's got a lot of relationships, a lot of big donors, a lot of money. He's got a lot of power. He's got people in all the right places. And so you needed to come correct. And so I think they should have done that. Obviously we know the Yonkers Democratic Party, they're not doing a good job of getting new blood in there. The Republican Party is all in shambles here in the city of Yonkers. They're definitely not getting any new blood or anyone. They rarely run a candidate against a Democrat, right? So, that's the problem, right? We don't have these new candidates because the parties really are the problem. But those like Indivisible and others should have been looking for a candidate. They should have been, because Corazon's an easy target, a very easy target. You got tickets that you haven't paid. You've voted along with the administration. You mentioned Vinny Spano, but you were a part of a reason why he was, appointed to city clerk. You approved it. She voted. It was 7-0, right? They got him in there, right? What about Liam McLaughlin, the inspector general that we wonder if he's ever going to do anything? How did he get in there? Who voted for him? Was that a 7-0 vote? I think your brother even voted to get Liam in there. Look at that, right? And it came back to bite him in the butt, right? And then so now they're even using that to defend themselves in that lawsuit, saying that, well, Mike Cater had no problem with Liam McLaughlin. He was fine with it, right? But I get that. Mike was playing nice. He was hoping that, he was showing the sign of, good, whatever, I'm a good gesture, I should say, trying to make peace by doing that, right? I get it. The administration spent 6 times more than any race ever before. On this election, they spent 6 times more. Well, yeah. I mean, I think that, again, it was really pushing it with the 4th term, right? And then the way they went about it with Lakeisha introducing it by herself. And then, so a lot of people were upset about it, right? A lot of people were angry. So they were already pushing the luck with that, right? And then now you had basement politics, right? Then you had other people start to, speak out even more. You have other guys trying to do what we do here, right? So there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of opposition this time around, and it was coming from a lot of different places, right? So there definitely, and I was hearing this, there definitely was some concerns there. And I can tell, I mean, I see the Mike Spano signs all over. Mike Spano has ads on YouTube, on Cablevision or cable TV. He's everywhere. His ads everywhere. So you're right. I would imagine that they probably did spend. Again, I wasn't here for the last elections, right? The last mayoral election, but I would imagine that they spent a lot more money based on what people are seeing. Over $450,000, numerous jobs given out, plenty of favors given. Wake up. Yeah. But John, here's the problem, right? People don't come out to vote, John. They're predicting a low voter turnout. The primaries are usually, they have low voter turnouts. So ultimately, who should you be mad at? And I'm saying this because, recently, I just like, where's the support? Like, people want things to change, but what are they actually doing to make the change, right? What are they doing? Like, you have this lawsuit. I'm hearing that they're going to appeal the term limit lawsuit because, again, the judge upheld the city council's decision. But is it worth it? Because I don't, and again, I'm not against it, but I don't see how the argument is going to hold. He's technically not getting a direct benefit, right? So to me, the energy and any money that's being spent should be put into assuring that people come out to vote. Then if that's what you want the change, the people have to vote for it. They have to vote for it. The people have to come out. Doesn't matter, what people say, what videos and ads you put out, doesn't matter. The people have to ultimately vote. And if they don't come out to vote, then of course you're going to get the people that had gotten favors or that got a job. Yes, they're going to say, you know what? I owe this man to come out and vote for him. He looked out for me. And so you're going to get a lot of those people because everybody else is staying home. That's not where I don't care. I'm not going to vote. My vote's not going to do anything anyway. I don't like no one on the ballot anyway. Right? So there's the problem. You got the people that are loyal that are going to come out to vote because they feel like, hey, this guy did something for me. I owe it to him to come out. They go out there. People, go out there and support, whether, it's because they got a job or whatever. They got a favor. They're still doing it. Right? The regular people, I can't give a job. I don't think Corazon could give a job, but forget even Corazon because she's already in there. Let's say Margaret Coleman, she can't give a job, but she can't get support from people because of these, abilities, that the administration has, right? So we need the people to be out there volunteering because that's all we could do. We can't, pay everybody. We can't pay a big team like the mayor did. The mayor had a big team. So it's up to the people. Their desire for change is what is their compensation for coming out there, knocking on doors for a candidate that they believe will be the change. But they didn't do that. So why? What's the point? John, sometimes what's the point? What's the point, right? You have to come out and vote. If you don't come out and vote, then doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you put the information out there. That's all I'm saying, So, of course, Corazon had an uphill battle. Yeah, she definitely got an uphill battle. Multiple communities sold out or got pressured. It was shameful how the same people over the years hated Spano. Now, all of a sudden, praise him. No glutz, no glory. I guess, who are you referring to specifically? Right? Who all of us, the people that I've been seeing, they look like they've been the Spano supporters for forever. It doesn't look like they supported anybody else, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe, for example, Wilson Torrero, who called up WNYC in this radio show I'm going to play, right? He's always been a Spano supporter. Who else? Who else? Everybody that I see is a Spano. There's always been a Spano supporter. So I don't know. It's up to the people to come out to vote. That's what I've been saying, John. That's what I said. Even if they appeal and they win, you think that at that point the primary is on Tuesday, right? You think that the judge is going to say, okay, well, Spano, you're out. I think that what they may say is, okay, you guys win, Sussman and that crew wins. So moving forward, right, they can't ever change it again, right? But it's already been changed, so it can't be changed again. And now it's up to the referendum that Moranti is trying to get on the ballot to bring it back to 3 terms and then bring it back again to 2 terms, and then they can't change it again without a referendum. That's how I see it happening. I don't see this playing out where they end up winning and then Mike Spano has to be out. You can't. Right? I don't see that happening. And at this point, like I said, the primary is on Tuesday. How long is this appeal going to go? Is it going to be successful? I think the energy should be spent on getting people to come out and vote if that's what you want. If you want to vote Mayor Spano out, then you got to get people to come out and vote. That's just it. You got to get people to come out and vote. But, I don't know. Let's play this. I'm going to play this real quick and then we'll talk about it.
Sure. We've got Mayor Mike Spano, part of the Spano political family. He's been in lifelong politician. He's now going for his 4th term. When he was first elected, Yonkers mayors could only serve 2 terms. He's now been, the city council has now twice extended term limits in Spano's favor. So he's going for a 4th term. He's up against Corazon Pineda Isaacs. She served 3 terms in the city council. She's a Latina, hoping to energize her base. She's more on the left with the support of the Working Families Party. Community voices heard, pushing more affordable housing in the city. And then Margaret Fountain Coleman, educator, African American, and she is energizing people for public safety and more housing. So it's a
AJ. You want to give us more and build on what David was saying about the political spectrum here. I know Spano has described himself as a, quote, hardcore moderate in the middle. He was formerly a Republican, I believe, while in the state Senate. Corazon Pineda Isaac called Spano a quasi-Republican, meaning even today. So can you compare and contrast at least those two?
Margaret Coleman Fountain, she's also, her husband's the president of the Yonkers NAACP. She's been a strong critic of Spano on certain issues, especially around public safety. She also was the first African-American councilwoman in Tuckahoe some years back. Spano, I do want to say something about the term limits. I covered that extensively. A lot of people are still not happy with that because the people voted for term limits, and then the people voted not to extend it twice. And the last 2 times, the council just voted without going to the people, and the people were very upset that they didn't take it back to the people. And that seems to be an issue. So I don't know if they're gonna hold that against Spano or not.
And shades of New York City, AJ, right? Because
yes,
there were 2 referendums in the city imposing and then reaffirming term limits, and then city council, when Mayor Mike Bloomberg wanted to run for a 3rd term,
So he's comparing it to Mike Bloomberg there, and city council there in New York City. So that's AJ Woodson from Black Westchester. And he's saying that, the people, in terms of the term limits, the people were very upset that it was extended via the council. One of the things I want them to, I want people to mention and be very detailed about and very specific about, I should say, is that the city council president introduced the legislation by herself. So had she not introduced the legislation, there would have been nothing to vote on. So don't forget that fact. That's important, right? The first African-American female city council president introduced the term limit by herself. No housing ordinance. That's what we very much need here. None of that. Just the term. So don't forget that. And then they voted on it, right? Then the council ended up voting on it. And yes, Corazon voted against it, obviously, and she would be wanting to run for office. So yeah, it makes sense.
Flipped it without another referendum, and he ran again and got elected again. So this is kind of eerie.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yes. This is a resident here, and I want you to listen to her. She called her from the city of Yonkers.
We were at City Hall when the public had a chance to speak about the referendum when Spano was going for his 3rd term, and no one wanted him to be able to do that. And he has a lot of family employed through City Hall. He has a lot of pull with various groups, and it feels like the goons show up to, enforce his opinions. And it's a really serious situation here. And there was a press conference about 2 weeks ago made up of various disparate groups, because there's a lot of unhappiness about the unbridled construction that's going on in Yonkers. And basically the public, which is not vocal, we are vocal, is constantly just kind of pushed out of the way and shut down. And so, I mean, as far as whether people really want him to have a fourth term, I would say absolutely not. Whether he's good at ginning up support and, constantly putting himself out there, with his face everywhere in Yonkers, yeah, he's good at that.
But
he may get it.
Let me follow up with you on two things you said. One, when you said the goons show up, that has potentially serious
the goons.
criminal implications. Are you suggesting physical intimidation by goons in that respect, or are you just political power?
Well, to call someone a goon is it's I guess an opinion, but there have been times when there has been physical intimidation used. Yes. And people have been pushed around. These are at public forums, and when in polite conversation, I mean, when someone has raised issues about advancement in Yonkers, there's definitely been intimidation.
Liza, thank you very much. David, that's a serious charge, and obviously one that we can't just take as fact because a caller said.
So she said a lot there. That was a caller, resident from the city of Yonkers. Where are these folks at? Where you guys at? All right, where are you guys at? Why don't anyone call me up? 914-444-1570. Call me up. Tell me something. You guys aren't afraid to call up that guy, right? So you can call up that number if you want to say something. But she said a lot of stuff. She mentioned the nepotism, says a lot of the Spano family work for the city. She said they have pull with various groups, right? So here's the thing. So again, right, you have organizations that many of you guys support, right? Many of you that speak against the Spanos support the Spanos. And you could say, well, they're threatened, they're this, that, and a third, whatever. But if they're supporting the Spano, if they're doing things to support the administration, they're helping the administration continue, regardless of what reason, right? So we have to call it out. And that's what I've called it out. And John says, don't attack community people. Don't have to go after community people. I'm not attacking them. I was just stating certain things. But at the end of the day, they're not doing it because they feel some kind of threat or they're scared. They do it because they get funding. They want the funding, right? But at least do a good job. At least make a difference. Be impactful. Then again, I wouldn't care necessarily. But they get money. So you know which organizations I'm talking about. I'm not going to say them, right? We see them, and many of them are minority organizations. So, I mean, look, Hispanos for Spanos, the Dominicans, right? And Corazon's Dominican. Why aren't they supporting her? You think because they were threatened? Is that what it is? Simply because they were threatened? No, because they want to do well. They want whatever comes with that support. And that's why they do it. So you have to put them out because some of the people you're cool with. So if you don't like it, then you have to call them out. Don't be cool with them and only attack the administration. They're doing what they got to do. You know, it's like with the CPS thing, with that video that they put out on Yonkers Voice. I'm not as mad towards, like, let's say Vincent Spano or any Spano as I am towards my own cousin, because that's blood. That should never have happened. You should never did no move like that. Coming from the Spanos, I get it. I would do anything to get me to shut up too if I were them. It's a game. Everybody's playing a game. That's ultimately what it is, John. Everybody's playing a game. And that's why nothing changes. She talked about the goons. They show up. It's a real serious situation is what she said. And I'm assuming she's referring to a lot of the DPW workers that show up to the meetings, at the term limit meeting they all showed up to. Remember that? At the Riverfront Library? It got crazy, right? Especially when I went up there, everybody got loud, right? And they started saying all kinds of stuff. And so this is intimidating, I guess, to somebody. It sounds like she would be intimidated, right? And yeah, that does happen. They come out, they support. This is their job. They want to make sure that, they keep the guy that got them their job or that was instrumental in their job or in their success to stay in office. That's what they're doing. So again, if you want change, you have to come out to vote, because there are people that are going to vote for the same because they're happy. They're doing well. So you got to come out. And it could get tough. We saw what happened. And Tasha Diaz, we see how she got all aggressive and loud and was belittling people. And then the city council president, she set it off with the whole, little black puppet thing and having to make a point that she was not going to become a judge, that her husband was not going to become a Yonkers police officer, contrary to what Freddie Vasquez has said. That's just what I heard. Just what I heard. And based on your actions, it seems like it may be true, because if you were for the people, you would have passed a housing ordinance. Blame the city council people that go along with it. Where's the criticism for Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy? Where's the criticism for John Rubo? I see a lot of criticism towards Mike Breen, that's for sure, from Ron Mattin. He's going all the way in, right? She says the public is vocal, but they get pushed out of the way. So basically, they don't matter. The vote. But, I was trying to organize people. So I said, listen, let's rally. Let's go and rally against corruption and this nepotism and all this that we're talking about. Nobody wanted to join me. People said, let me see what's up. Let me see. So you have to make noise, right? When are people vocal? At the times that you get to be vocal, when they designate you to be vocal, within the 3 minutes that they give you to be vocal, okay, yeah, you're going to get pushed out the way because it's a controlled environment, it's a controlled setting. They don't care. They have to do that. So they're going to do it the way they want to do it, and that's it. Then people go home, and then nothing else. So you have to go out there and rally. Take the time. Take as much time as you need. Do it when you want to do it. Say what you want to say. But no one comes out. No one does it. What about these organizations, right? We have the Yonkers NAACP. We have Community Voices Heard. I'm not criticizing them. I'm just saying we have these organizations, Community Voices Heard. We have Indivisible, right? Indivisible supporting Corazon. Where's the rally? Why are you not organizing a rally to make people or have people come out and be more vocal? Where's that at? That's how you're going to make the change. That's how you're going to make an impact. Not just putting these videos out and then you have only a few days left. It's not going to make the difference because we've seen that and we've heard it before, right? And they can say, well, Corazon, you have family members too. Your mom, your sister. That's not going to work. Maybe if you stopped attacking people that lived in the community, they would call in. John, people email me. People message me. People are afraid. They reach out to me. They're just afraid. But why I'm asking people to call in? Because if you want change, you gotta be vocal about it. You can't do it in the shadows. You can't do it from, behind an email. You have to also come out. And if you're not gonna do that, then you're not gonna get the results that you're looking for. I'm sorry. I just don't see it, right? They say, she says that people don't want to see him for a fourth term. People have been pushed around in public forums, like Hector Santiago. They support him because they expect him to win. By supporting him, they'll help him win. A self-fulfilling prophecy. This is extraordinary power of incumbency. Who supported the city council president? How did she become the city council president? She's the one that introduced the legislation to extend the term. Who did she thank? Of course, she thanked the mayor. She thanked Wilson Kimball and James Kavanaugh. She thanked Frankie Jarris. And then she also thanked Keisha Skipper and Christopher Johnson. You see what the problem is, John? When people are not honest on a consistent basis, this is what you get. People play their own game. I try to meet with people, but people didn't want to organize. Then I had Keisha telling me, well, we met, but we're not sure if we want to include you because you're being investigated. I was confused. She was talking about the CPS investigation that I got because I'm talking on Basement Politics, and my cousin's wife and my cousin called CPS on me because of me revealing and speaking the truth. And so because of that, she was, and her crew, whoever was together that day, deciding whether or not they were going to include Freddie Vasquez, the guy who has put his neck out the most. And I said, what? I said, that's the reason why I'm here. I'm being attacked. That's retaliation. That's not real. Oh, but it's still an investigation. Oh, okay. Really? That's nonsense. So people have their own agendas. You got too many people that want to be the leaders. They want to be in the front. People got personal issues, personal vendettas. Everybody wants to come at the Spanos for one reason or another. But that's not going to get any change. That's why we don't come together. Because everybody has their own agenda. Everybody's doing it for their own reason. Is it really about getting the Spanos out because you feel that the city would be better off without Mayor Spano? Or is it because you have some agenda? Or you have some hatred, some personal dislike? If that's the case, then that's why it's not going to work. That's why you're not going to see change. Time for people to get together. You want change? Then let's organize. Let's get together. Let's be committed to it. Otherwise, what are we doing? So I tried to organize with people, and that's what I got. I got Keisha telling me that they had met. She was offended because I said we need to organize. And she said, well, how you know people aren't organizing? I don't know. That's why I'm saying we need to organize. But are you? If you are, then let me know so I could be a part of it because I'm trying to be down with this, right? I'm out here with my basement politics, right? Oh, well, you got that investigation. Oh, you mean the one that they put on me because I'm speaking out? Because I'm speaking the truth? I'm the damn mascot. I'm the guy that should be at the front. I'm the guy that's getting all this retaliation and being attacked every which way. And she goes, oh, well, others have been attacked too. I said, oh, yeah? Like who and how? She said, oh, one of the members woke up and they had a nail in their tire. Oh, okay. I get those all the time. I don't think it's retaliation. That's just driving every day. Everyday driving. And then she said, and my car can't start. Well, maybe you need a new alternator. Is that really retaliation? Did you get 2 CPS cases? Have they delayed your business, causing you thousands and tens of thousands of dollars? But you're going to leave me out? Look at how the term limit thing went. Some of those people should not even be on there. Don't even make sense. Joe Pinion, where you come from? And so what it looked like was a group of individuals that had some kind of personal issue, that were mad about something, whether it's because they lost or something personal between them and one of the Spanos specifically, or somebody within politics. Keisha don't know which side she want to be on. You're going to support LaKeisha Collins Bellamy 1 minute. She's with the administration. Christopher Johnson supported LaKeisha Collins Bellamy. She's with the administration. You didn't know that? You turn your backs on Mike Cater because you were supposed to support him first. And then all of a sudden you're supporting LaKeisha. Why? Because there was some benefit that they were hoping to get. Well, I don't know about Chris Johnson. I think he just always wants to go with the black person, but that's not the best play either. So let's just keep it all the way honest. I done did things for people that had personal issues, and I done stuck my neck out. Ruros is putting shit up on his page. Where's the people saying, yo, that's not Freddie, that's not true. Ruros, you're wrong. Right? No, John, I don't attack everybody and their mother, John. I don't attack everybody and their mother. I don't attack anybody. I just put the truth out. Attacking them would be cursing at them, saying, F you suck, this, that, and the third. No, I say you flip-flop. If you flip-flop, you Tasha Diaz, right? If you're a community organization and y'all just taking the money, supporting the people that you want out, the people that you say, right, are corrupt. See, I don't do that. If you support and fuck with somebody I don't fuck with, I'm not going to dislike you, but I'm not going to really mess with you. That's just that's how I am. So people have step. People are not always straight up. And I call it out. Am I wrong? Am I wrong about what I'm saying? How do we get the term limits? Huh? Yeah, Chris is feeling the pain in that move. That's what I'm saying. So, right? So that's what I mean. That's what I mean. What are we doing? You got to do things for the right reasons. Right? The reasons why you're a politician. That's to represent the people. Not represent yourself, not to be running some agenda, not to look to the future so you can keep climbing the political ladder. Not so you could be on the front page or something. Not so you could be the one that had the good idea. Or so you could be known, or so you could be part of a political circle. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Even with you, John. Even with you, John. What's your goal? What's your agenda? What do you get out of it? What do you get out of seeing Mike Spano not in office anymore? What do you get out of it? Do you want to see the schools improve? Do you want to see, Latino and black kids do better? I mean, what do you get out of it, right? The community people that I speak about are a part of the individuals, right? That's the problem. So you're part of that circle, then you must, birds of a feather flock together, as they say, right? I'm just saying. Birds of a feather. So, everybody's playing their game, John. That's what I'm saying. What do you get out of it? What do you get out of it? What do you get out of seeing Mike Spano? What's your big dislike for Mayor Mike Spano? You know what my issue is? It's not the building department. My issue is that I see a lot of kids that come from where I come from that don't succeed. I see a school district that is providing poor quality education, a poor quality academic experience. I see a lack of resources for our kids. I see people who are impoverished not able to get out of poverty. I see a small group of individuals hoarding the opportunities, hoarding the riches, the wealth. And they are a group of individuals that are of all colors. Black, white, Hispanic, Jordanian. And as long as these individuals are benefiting, doesn't matter what's happening in the schools. Doesn't matter what's happening in the Southwest side. Doesn't matter that people are getting priced out, pushed out, forced to sell their homes, forced to have their businesses closed. That's what I see. That's what I have an issue with. I don't have an issue necessarily with Mike Spano. And like I've said before, if Mike Spano is willing to work to get these issues addressed, then I would work with him. I don't care who it is. Corazon, Margaret Coleman, Moranti. Doesn't matter to me. I don't want to be the mayor, really, because what I've learned, politics, it's not for me. I might just react to somebody one day, and that's not the best thing. So I can't do that. What I want to do is impact the community, impact the kids. I don't care how I'm able to do that. So what's in it for you? What's your goal? Why do you want to see Mike Spano out? Why does anybody else want to see Mike Spano out? Why? I want to know. Because if you want to see somebody out that bad, if you really want to make change that bad, then you have to do more. I don't see that. People criticize me for how I do my podcast, or how I do this or how I do that. But I don't see them doing anything. So let's just be honest. That's all I'm saying. Let's be honest. We first have to start by being honest with ourselves, honest about the situation, and then finding a solution. That's just how we do it.
So do you have any reporting at Low Hood on physical intimidation on the part of people, reporting to or loyal to Mayor?
The night that they voted to put it on the ballot and to put it on the agenda for the next meeting, the city council.
Extending term limits.
Yeah, it was very, very heated.
And David,
people were very passionate on both sides.
David, according to your reporting in Low Hood, since the last time you were on, there are currently, 15 members of the Spano family on the city of Yonkers payroll, totaling $2 million in salaries and benefits per year, raising the issue of nepotism. So give us a little bit of give us a brief summary of that reporting.
Yeah, well, it's actually up to 19 now because there's further reporting that boosted it up to 19. And many of these are
up to 19 family members. You know that. Mike Spano didn't put an Arab American in a key position to help our people. He bypassed Nader, divided our community. Then he went after Mike Cater for not supporting his age. That's my issue. His age? He went after Mike. Okay. Well, that sounds personal. That sounds personal, right? What about Nader? How do you feel about Nader? How do you feel about Dr. Rabadi? Amir Rabadi? How do you feel about, well, I know how you feel about him. How do you feel about other Arab leaders here in the community that are supporting the administration? They see what you see, right? They see that there's no key people in key Arab Americans in key positions. They see the church or the Arab community divided. They see how Mike Cater was and his family were attacked and how he was thrown under the bus. But was that the administration? Or was that Zahi Jeris? I think, the funding, but the plan and the doing of what was done, that's Zahi Jeris. That's an Arab American. That's a member of you guys' community. And I know you're mad at him, but are others mad at him? And why aren't others saying, no, we want you out of the community. You've divided our community. You've used our community for your political agendas. And you've gone after one of our own in the most disgusting ways. Where are the people speaking out? A lot of the prominent Arab Americans were in that room at the Castle Royale that day, right? I'm saying. Nader's a good man. Amir sold out. Mr. ABC is a scumbag. That's always bring cash. That's Zahi Jeris. They scared, no balls. So that's what I'm saying. So a lot of people say, I'm scared. A lot of people may be pandering. So how do you expect to get change? The people that are active, that are coming out, that are voting, have some agenda. They may want to benefit from the current administration, or they may be, wanting to keep their job. They want their business or whatever it is, right? Whatever it is. So how do you get change when you have that going on? And that's all I'm saying. Let's just be honest, right? I'm not trying to bring up Keisha Skipper to bring up Keisha Skipper. I just want to say that. I was just thinking about that. I don't want to be like, why are you always coming after me? Why do they talk about? That's not about her. I'm making the point. Right? That I wanted to organize. I wanted to get together, put people together. Let's go and let's rally. Let's go. Let's make noise. Let's have signs. Let's keep doing this till they, the helicopters from the news stations and all that start coming out and start putting us on the news and asking us why we're here every day. But nobody was really willing to do it. Got a lot of Keisha's telling me that they're ready meeting, but they're leaving me out. It was just nonsense. It was bogus. It was like, you guys don't want change. Everybody got their own thing. And you don't know which way, someone's headed or if they're coming or going. You don't know which side they're on. 1 minute they're over here, the next minute they're over there. That's the problem. And so for me, look, I'm going to keep putting out the information. I'm going to keep reporting whatever I feel is newsworthy. I'm going to keep speaking on politics and giving my unbiased analysis. And I know some people may not like what I said about Corazon today. I know you don't like John, right? And I'm not trying to be negative towards it. I'm just being honest. Being honest. Change is going to come when we be honest, when we do it for the right reasons. Until then, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. And so, again, I'm going to keep reporting it. I'm going to keep putting the information out there. It's up to you guys to vote. I'm going to be doing what I do, because what I want to do is I want to impact the community. I want to impact my old neighborhood specifically, but our community. I want to impact Yonkers. I want to impact our educational system. I have this dream, like Martin Luther King, that I could work with whoever is in office. I don't care who. And no one's offered me anything, a damn thing. Nothing no one's offered me. Not one penny. I'm just saying, I want to be impactful and help our school district. I have a dream that one day our school district is going to be just like the school district that I went to high school with or in. I hear Iona Prep is getting an ice hockey rink. They have an ice hockey team. That's a private school. My public high school that I went to had that already, had an ice rink, had a hockey team. I would love to see that. And I'm not talking about just hockey. I'm talking about a real robust sports program, a real amazing academic experience for our kids, especially because so many are Black and Latino, and 77% are largely or are impoverished, living at or below the poverty line. Many have been living at or below the poverty line, or there's generational poverty within that family. And so that's what I want to do. I don't care who's in office. If you're doing some foul shit, I'm gonna talk about that. If it's impacting our kids negatively, like it's taken away from our schools, I'm gonna talk about that. If it's hurting our community in some way, I'm gonna talk about that. Our roads, or whatever, I'm gonna speak about that. But for me, my concern is not taking Mike Spano out. It never was. It wasn't seeing Mike Spano go to jail. It never was. I'm all about just putting the information out there. You guys have to go and vote. When we have to go and vote, we have to do the action. I tried to motivate some people, didn't work. So I'm just going to do what I need to do to make an impact in the community, to do what it is that I want to do, which is selfless. I don't want nothing for me. You're not going to see me with a DPW uniform on, and I'm not going to be driving a garbage truck. But you will see me ultimately working with our youth. One of my things is working with the teens specifically, but I want to work with them as young as possible. But I'm looking forward to working with teens in this community. So many teens are getting involved in things that are not healthy, that are going to lead them in a, down a path to death or jail, or just a lifelong life of poverty, which leads to misery many times, which leads to a lot of other things, drug addictions. I go in my old community, I see people I know, and they've changed a lot. I see some people that I grew up with that are on drugs now that I just wouldn't even think it. And they're bad, and it's bad. And I don't even want to see them. I don't want them to see me, because I know that that's probably, hard for them to know that they're in that condition, and to see somebody that's known them for a long time. Nobody's perfect. I'm not judging. I'm just saying it's unfortunate. And you know what I think about their kids? I know some of these guys have kids. And I think about their kids and how their kids have their fathers not there. He's in the middle of Getty Square or somewhere in the Southwest Side. Homeless, strung out. So to see someone go from being with their kids at their job to being alone, strung out, homeless. I know a guy, damn, he was a good dad. His son, scholarships, sports scholarships. And he was there with his son from when he was little, because I know this guy for a long time, and he was always there. I used to always say that to him. I said, man, you're a good dad because you're always at every game and taking him to every practice, putting it on social media, the highlights, proud of his son. And then he ended up getting addicted. First, it was these strong pain pills. I know there was some medical things there. Then from there, it went to, I think, angel dust or whatever. And he was so bad that his son didn't want to have a relationship with him anymore. He finally got there. The son was finally there in college playing sports, and he didn't have a relationship with his dad. The guy that was there in the beginning because of the condition he was in. And I understand. I get where the son is coming from. I know that feeling. And unfortunately, he passed away. And I can go on, tell you another story, and then tell you another story after that. And so that's what I care about. I don't care about this stupid politics shit. Everybody's playing a game. Everybody wants something for themselves. I don't care what side you're on. That's just the reality of it. So, again, I'm here to do things for our community. I want to make an impact. And I'm willing to work with whoever. And I'm going to give you the news, the politics, raw, straight, for whoever it is. You know how I felt about the Spanos. I've spoken about them. I've spoken about Vinny Spano. I spoke about Zahi Jerris. But it's up to the people to come out and vote. So if you want change and you believe that voting for someone other than Spano is the change, then you need to go do that. That's what you got to do. Just saying. No, John, it's not that I'm scared. I'm not scared. You have to be smart. Right? You have to be smart. People know what I'm about. They know what I'm about. That's not going to motivate me, John, to do that. Never, works. I'm just saying, it's like the guy that tries to sell you and be like, oh, well, if you don't got the money, and then you got to, no, I got the money no, that's not going to work. That trick, right? It's not that I'm scared, John. I walked into the Lions Den not that long ago, John, by myself. By myself. We could go to war all day. We could war, John. We could war. We could fight. We could battle it out. And then what? Do I get to work with my kids? Do I get to impact our community? Warring? Or do I be strategic and be smart so that way that I can make the impact that I feel is important and what's always been my concern, right? And if Mayor Spano is in office still and he's not doing the job that I think he should be doing, and I'm going to continue to talk about it. I'm going to say it. If it's Corazon and she ends up winning and I'm going to say whatever. And if Moranti, then it'll be the same. But I'm just saying, if people feel that strongly about it, then where's the action? Where's the action, right? I got to say, you scared you stopped showing the manager on the podcast. John, Vinny Spano didn't care about DiMaggio being on the podcast. I asked him when we were talking, I asked him, I was in his office. I said, do you want me to not have DiMaggio on anymore? He said, I really don't care. I'm not going to tell you this. And I kept doing it. They don't care, John. This is what I'm saying. It's great to get the information out. It's great to inform people, but that's not going to do anything if people don't go out and vote, if people don't actually take action. That they're not. So it's not about being scared. It's not about, because that doesn't do anything. Having Anthony DiMaggio on doesn't hurt me. It doesn't hurt me. You know what the issue really is? What's it's the personal shit, right? It's the personal stuff. So you talk about somebody's why. Look at the Arab community, John. The Arabic community, John. I talk about Native Sage. I mentioned Nadeem Sage. I got beef with all of them now. Right? They support each other. I got beef with all of them now. I mentioned, right? That's what gets them mad. That's when I have the problem. It ain't Anthony DiMaggio. It ain't Anthony DiMaggio. John, I'm sorry that I'm not giving you what you want. Okay, I'm not giving you what you want. I'm sorry, John. But again, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing, John, to make change? What are you doing? What is your goal? What is your strategy? That's what I'm saying. So it's not Anthony DiMaggio that bothers people. It's, you mentioned Nadeem Sage and you talk about what happened with him, or you mention Wilson Kimbo and the fact that she was having the fling with James Kavanaugh. That's what they don't like. That's what gets them mad. Right? That's what gets them going. Right? So it's not, Anthony is a good man that got fucked over. Yeah. And I said that. He's a good man that got fucked over. And we've talked about it. We've put his story out there. I'm talking about the difference. What's it doing? Right? I've done a lot. So you can't, for you to sit there and be like, oh, you scared, or you this, that, John, you look foolish because I've done so much. You talk about scared, John, you didn't want to give me the billboard. Remember that? You didn't want to let me rent because you were scared. How many times you told me, oh, I don't want to do that because I don't want to say that because they might mess with my new business, right, over there in Sawmill. But you want me to say it, though. Do you think about my business? Do you, John? See what I'm saying? That's my point. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Have a beautiful night. You want change? You got to do shit about it. You can't just talk about it. You got to actually do action. You got to go out there. You got to vote. There's been a low voter turnout in all these elections. So ultimately, who is it that you have to blame if you continue to get the same? Got to call them out. You can't be afraid to do that. If you are, then no change, right? I've done a lot. And I don't make money off this podcast. I don't make $1 off this podcast. No one's paying me to do this podcast at all. I've done a lot. So don't say I'm scared. Because I think I've proven myself. And by you saying that, John, you're just looking like you're, trying to egg things on. And for whose benefit? Right? See, that's what I'm saying. Everybody has an agenda. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement. Isn't corruption died? I done put the information out. I done told you what's going on. How many people have shared the podcast? I can count on one hand. One hand. John, how many times have you shared my podcast, John? You wanna know something funny?
Freddie wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddie Vasquez. Thank you for watching.
No!